On August 5th, 2025, the UK government released a fresh update to its immigration rules, a statement that brings notable implications, particularly for individuals arriving in the UK via France. These new amendments also include details about a newly introduced route that could prove advantageous for European nationals seeking legal entry into the UK. Many have been eagerly awaiting clarity on the proposed ILR indefinite leave to remain reforms, wondering who might be impacted and whether these changes are addressed in the latest publication. In this video, we'll walk you through a concise summary of what the update entails and whether the ILR-related concerns were officially acknowledged. Make sure to stay with us till the end, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. For future updates, let's get into the key developments. The Home Office has issued a short but important statement of changes to the immigration framework. This particular update serves a very specific purpose: the formal introduction of the UK European Applicant Transfer Scheme, which comes into effect following a newly implemented agreement with France. Now, while the terminology might sound technical, we're going to break it down in simple terms: what it means, who qualifies, and what it doesn't cover. Unlike previous updates that often reshuffle multiple visa categories, this one is highly focused. It brings in a single addition to the immigration rules, a new appendix titled the UK European Applicant Transfer Scheme. So what exactly is this scheme? In essence, it's a pilot initiative established under a fresh treaty between the United Kingdom and France. The agreement aims to tackle two major challenges: strengthening border control by disrupting criminal networks involved in dangerous small boat crossings, and providing a safer, legal alternative for vulnerable individuals seeking refuge. What makes this scheme particularly interesting is its reciprocal nature. According to the explanatory memorandum, the agreement enables the UK to return individuals who have crossed the channel in small boats back to France. In exchange, a select number of people currently residing in France will be eligible for legal transfer to the UK. Here's the crucial detail: the number of individuals transferred to the UK will match the number of those removed under this pilot arrangement. In other words, it operates on a 1-for-1 basis. For every person returned to France, one person will be allowed to enter the UK through this route. The scheme outlines clear criteria for applicants. First, you must be physically present in France at the time of your application. Submissions from outside of France won't be accepted. Second, it's open to adults aged 18 and over, or families where at least one parent meets the age requirement. Third, the scheme is accessible to applicants of any nationality, except for a specific group: nationals of European Economic Area (EEA) countries and their family members who retain free movement rights are excluded. This new policy marks a tightly focused yet significant shift in UK immigration efforts, signaling both a cooperative stance with France and a targeted approach to managing irregular migration. Stay tuned as more details unfold in the coming weeks, and we'll continue to bring you the latest verified updates. So, what exactly happens if your application under this new scheme is successful? Let's be clear, this is not a pathway to settlement. Those who are approved will receive entry clearance, allowing them to stay in the UK for a period of up to 3 months. During this short window, applicants are expected to explore lawful ways to extend or regularize their stay. However, there are strict limitations. During this period, individuals are not permitted to work or study. Think of it as a temporary protection period, giving people time to understand and pursue long-term immigration options, but without the right to employment or education during their stay. The process itself is quite distinct from typical visa applications. It involves two key stages. Stage 1 is an expression of interest, a way of signaling that you'd like to be considered. But here's the catch: these expressions can only be submitted during designated windows announced by the Home Secretary. Submitting outside those periods, your application won't even be reviewed. It'll be automatically rejected. Stage 2 begins only if your expression of interest is selected. The Home Office will then proceed to complete your formal entry clearance application for you. That application will be reviewed based on the scheme's eligibility and suitability requirements. One important thing to understand here: the government has intentionally built flexibility into this system. Officials reserve the right to pause the scheme at any point, assess how many applicants are in the pipeline, and permanently close it once the number of approved applicants equals the number of individuals returned to France under the pilot agreement. To put it all in perspective, this latest update to the immigration rules introduces a very specific and temporary pilot scheme in partnership with France. The mechanism links two sides of a single process: those returned to France after irregular channel crossings, and those allowed entry into the UK through an official and legal route. This is not a standard visa pathway. It provides a temporary 3-month stay only, with no guarantee of future settlement. Now, let's address the question many of you have been waiting for, the issue that likely brought you to this video in the first place: what's happening with the proposed changes to the 10-year indefinite leave to remain ILR route? Has the UK government finally issued clarification on that front? We'll get into that next, so stay tuned. So, has the government finally provided the clarity we've all been waiting for? After carefully reviewing the full 12-page statement of changes and the 5-page explanatory memorandum released on August 5th, I can confirm with certainty that this update includes no mention whatsoever of the proposed changes to the 10-year indefinite leave to remain ILR route. Yes, you heard that right. There are no updates, no clarifications, and no new information regarding the ILR pathway in this latest statement. The uncertainty continues. This announcement is entirely focused on the UK-France transfer scheme and nothing beyond that. Understandably, this will be incredibly frustrating for many of you. The growing anxiety around this issue is real, and, like many of you, we were hopeful that this update might finally bring some answers. Let's quickly revisit what we already know. Back in May 2025, the UK government published a white paper outlining its long-term immigration strategy. Within that document, they introduced plans to restructure the current settlement system, most notably by increasing the standard qualifying period for ILR from 5 years to 10 years for the majority of work-based and long-stay visa categories. While the paper suggested this would become the new standard, it also floated the idea of an earned settlement model, one that could potentially allow individuals to qualify sooner, based on a points-based system measuring their contributions to the UK's economy and society. But here's the issue. The proposal was vague at best. It didn't explain how these points would be awarded, what types of contributions would be recognized, or how much faster someone could qualify under this new system. The only concrete detail was a promise of a public consultation later in the year. Since then, the lack of specifics has sparked widespread speculation and concern, especially among those nearing eligibility under the current rules. And as of today, August 6, 2025, the government has yet to provide any clarity. Thousands of applicants, along with immigration professionals, are still left without answers. The existing ILR rules remain in place, but the uncertainty surrounding the proposed overhaul continues to cast a long shadow. Now, it's worth noting that there have been a few minor adjustments to long residence policies. For instance, in late July, the rules were amended to confirm that time spent in Crown dependencies, like Jersey or the Isle of Man, can now be counted toward the 10-year long residence route. However, let's be clear, these are not the major structural changes proposed in the white paper. Our advice remains consistent. If you're approaching eligibility under the current rules, continue preparing your ILR application carefully and proactively. Don't assume that the rules will stay the same indefinitely. The government's intentions are clear, even if the details are still pending. We understand this may not be the news many of you were hoping for, but on this channel, our commitment is to bring you the facts as they are released. The situation remains fluid, and as soon as there are official updates on the ILR changes, we'll be here with a full breakdown and expert analysis. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments, but please note, we cannot provide individual legal advice there. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next update. Until then, stay informed, stay prepared, and